Okay, let's unpack this. We're about to take a profound journey today, really a deep dive into some ancient wisdom. Specifically, we're looking at a pivotal chapter from, well, one of the world's most influential spiritual texts, the Bhagavad Gita. Our mission here is to explore Chapter 4. It's beautifully titled Yoga of Knowledge and the Discipline of Action. We'll be digging into the intertwined nature of divine knowledge and purposeful action. We're drawing from excerpts found in Bhagavad Gita, Knowledge, Action, and Divine Incarnation.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how these ancient principles, I mean, they're millennia old, but they still offer such a remarkably fresh perspective on finding clarity, finding purpose. They just resonate in really surprising ways with the challenges, that we all face navigating our modern world.
I couldn't agree more. It's uncanny sometimes. And right near the start of Chapter 4, you have Krishna talking with Arjuna. And Arjuna asks this question that honestly might make any of us pause a bit. He asks, how could you, Krishna, have taught the sun god Vivasvan? I mean, he lived long before you. It immediately sets up this really intriguing puzzle about time and divine presence.
It really does. And Krishna's answer, well, it reveals something quite extraordinary about this wisdom. He explains that this spiritual science, this yoga, it isn't some recent idea. It has a sacred, incredibly ancient origin. He actually recounts teaching it first to the sun god Vivasvan, who then passed it to Manu, and from Manu, it eventually came to King Ikshvaku.
So a direct line, a disciplic succession.
Exactly. A clear chain designed to preserve this profound knowledge perfectly. But over vast stretches of time, that sacred knowledge did get lost. It became diluted, kind of obscured.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting for me. Krishna isn't just giving a history lesson, is he? He's explaining why he's bringing it back now. He tells Arjuna, he's revealing it to him specifically. Why? Because Arjuna is a dedicated devotee, a dear friend, someone who is actually capable of grasping its deep essence.
Precisely. It's not just theory being dusted off.
No, it feels like a living tradition being actively restored by its very source.
That's a great way to put it. And this isn't just, a historical detail for them back then. It raises a really important question for us too, I think. What vital knowledge, maybe long forgotten or just overlooked in our own lives or our own traditions, what might we rediscover if we approach it with the right intention? With that same kind of humility Arjuna shows.
That's a powerful thought. Recognizing knowledge isn't static, that it needs refreshing.
Yeah, it can fade.
So speaking of Krishna's presence across time, Arjuna's confusion wasn't just about when Krishna taught this. It was also about his fundamental nature, right? How could he be present then and still be here now?
Right. And Krishna clarifies this by revealing his divine nature. This is key. It's what makes him different from us. He says that both he and Arjuna have actually had many, many births. But here's the crucial difference. We forget our past lives. Mortal beings forget. Krishna remembers all of his. Why? Because he is unborn. He's eternal, the Lord of all beings. It's not like jogging his memory. It's just his inherent state of being. Supreme consciousness.
Okay, and this clarification, it leads straight into one of the most famous verses in the whole Gita, doesn't it? Like the core reason for divine intervention.
Absolutely, it's foundational. Krishna makes this incredible statement. He says, basically, look, whenever things really go off the rails, whenever righteousness declines and unrighteousness is on the rise, that's when I manifest myself. My purpose, he says, is to protect the pious, to, dismantle the wicked, and to reestablish the principles of dharma, of spiritual order. I appear age after age to do this. So that's the core reason for divine incarnations. They show up to restore moral order, to offer protection and reassurance when humanity feels lost or overwhelmed.
So what does this mean for you listening? It's about seeing that bigger picture of, divine presence. And it comes with this incredibly liberating promise too. Krishna says that those who truly grasp the transcendental nature of his birth and activities, they achieve liberation. They aren't reborn into this material world cycle.
Yeah, that connection between deep understanding and ultimate freedom is central.
Definitely. Which I guess brings us to maybe one of the trickier parts of the chapter.
Yes. A truly fascinating and, often challenging concept. It's one that might just flip your everyday understanding of effort and stillness right on its head.
You're talking about that mind-bending idea, seeing inaction in action and action in inaction. Seriously, when I first read that, my brain did a little loop-de-loop. How do we even start to unpack something that sounds so, paradoxical?
It is paradoxical, but it's also incredibly precise once you peel back the layers. Let's start with the basics. We have karma, that's action, then vikarma, forbidden or, let's say, unrighteous action, and akarma, which means inaction.
Okay, got those terms.
So inaction, inaction. This refers to someone who is physically doing things, they're active. Think of, I don't know, a dedicated surgeon in a complex operation, or maybe a leader guiding a big project. But internally, they remain detached from the results. Their actions aren't fueled by selfish desire or ego or needing a specific outcome. Because of this inner detachment, their actions don't forge new karmic chains. So, spiritually speaking, these actions are essentially a form of inaction. They don't bind you further.
Wow, that really does challenge how we think about productivity versus inner peace, doesn't it? It's not about just stopping everything.
Not at all.
So conversely then, what about action in action? Does that mean I can't even, sit on the couch and chill?
Aha! No, it's not about banning relaxation. Action in inaction describes someone who looks physically still. Maybe they're sitting quietly, maybe even meditating, but their mind, it's racing. It's full of material desires, maybe envy, plans for selfish gain, or just constant mental chatter. Those internal desires, that mental activity, that is a form of action, and it still creates karmic reactions.
Ah, okay, so they might look inactive.
Right, physically motionless, but internally, they're intensely active in a way that binds them. Think of someone maybe endlessly scrolling through social media. Physically, they seem inactive, but inside, they could be generating desire, judgment, maybe envy. That's a pretty good modern example of action in inaction.
That's a really crucial distinction. So the key to liberation isn't stopping activity altogether. It's about acting without being hooked on the results, the fruits of the action, and doing everything as an offering, a sacrifice.
Exactly. It's about the internal state, the consciousness behind the action, not just the external movement.
Okay, that makes so much more sense now. Phew.
And this understanding, this focus on the internal state and motivation, it naturally leads us to the next point, which is exploring the different kinds of sacrifices the Gita talks about. Because it turns out not all efforts, not all sacrifices have the same purifying power.
Right. The chapter mentions various types, giving away wealth, charity, also austerities like fasting or penance, and even the practice of yoga itself. But then Krishna makes a point of elevating one form way above the others. He suggests it's the most potent.
Yes, he does. He states quite emphatically that while all these other forms of sacrifice are valuable, sure, the highest form of sacrifice, the ultimate offering you can make, is actually the acquisition of spiritual knowledge. He declares that all actions, when you understand them properly and do them with the right consciousness, they ultimately culminate in or lead you towards a deeper kind of knowledge. And he's very clear. There is nothing in this world more purifying than spiritual wisdom. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it suggests understanding isn't just, an intellectual thing. It's the ultimate cleanser. It transforms your very being.
That's a really profound idea. Knowledge isn't just theory. It's not just academic. It's this active, powerful, purifying force that can actually transcend all those other actions or sacrifices. Okay, so how does one actually get this supreme purifying knowledge? It definitely sounds like something you can't just, download or scroll through online.
No, definitely not. And Krishna provides very clear, very actionable instructions, a precise path, really. He advises Arjuna to approach a self-realized spiritual master, a guru. And this approach, it's not just about showing up. It has to be done with genuine humility. It involves offering service to the teacher and asking submissive, sincere questions aimed at truth, not just debate.
So humility, service, sincere inquiry.
Exactly. He explains that such a teacher, someone who has already directly seen and realized the truth, they are capable of imparting this profound knowledge. And this process, when you follow it correctly, it dispels all your doubts, it removes the ignorance, and leads directly to self-realization.
And the chapter kind of wraps up with Krishna really pushing Arjuna, right?
Yeah.
Urging him to take decisive action based on this understanding. He tells him to use this sword of knowledge he's received, use it to cut through all the doubts that ignorance has created in his mind, and then to rise and fight, but with his mind fixed in yoga, fixed in this understanding.
Yeah, it's a powerful call to action.
So it's not about passive contemplation or just intellectual agreement. It's about actively engaging with the truth and letting that truth fuel purposeful action.
Precisely. It reinforces that idea perfectly. True wisdom isn't meant to be passive or abstract. It's a powerful tool, a tool for decisive, righteous action in the world. Which, brings up an important question for anyone listening. How can you wield that sort of knowledge in your own life? What confusion could it cut through? What action could it inspire?
What a journey we've just taken. Seriously. We took a deep dive into Bhagavad Gita Chapter 4. We explored that ancient sacred lineage of divine knowledge, We looked at the profound purpose behind why divine incarnations appear. We tried to unravel that surprisingly practical paradox of action and inaction, and we saw the supreme value Krishna places on spiritual knowledge as the ultimate purification.
Yeah, and finally, we touched on that active, humble path for actually acquiring this liberating truth.
It really brings it all together.
It does, and I think the key takeaway is that knowledge, as it's presented here, it isn't just information, it's not data. It's intended as a transformative power, something meant to guide not just our understanding, but our very actions and ultimately our liberation. It's about moving from that state of uncertainty and confusion to one of clarity and then into purposeful, engaged living.
So here's something to leave you with, something to ponder. If true wisdom really is this powerful tool for decisive and righteous action, what deep-seated doubt in your own life right now could potentially be cut by this sword of knowledge? And, following that, what purposeful action might then emerge for you?